so Game of Thrones wines. You've seen them, you know the story. I think my mic is too loud, so I think I am going to turn this down and try one more time. Yeah, that's better. All right, let's just try this. Game of Thrones. You know the series is coming up in just about a week's time. I think the launch is July 16th on HBO. But now there's the wine. I wanted to taste the wines that are available with the Game of Thrones branding, if you will, tonight on the Sunday Sipper Club. I'm Natalie MacLean, editor of Canada's largest wine review site at nataliemaclean.com. And now tonight, usually it's at 6 p.m. And as I mentioned last week, I have a commitment that I have to go to tonight at 6 p.m. So I'm doing it a little bit early. Here we are at 5:20. I just didn't want to miss this opportunity. A, because the season 7 starts next week, and B, because I have these wine samples. So if anybody can hear and see me, please just let me know that you are here, and I'm broadcasting clearly here. I'm just going to scroll down. My goodness gracious. Okay, I'm staying, so listening. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Lise. Lori says, love Game of Thrones. And I hope you guys can both hear me all right. I'm going to keep going till I see more comments. Anyway, as I mentioned in previous Sunday Sipper Clubs, Bob Cabrel, the winemaker for these wines, Game of Thrones, had agreed to be here with me on the Sunday Sipper Club to talk about these wines. And that's why I mentioned that he would be, but he canceled. What are you going to do? Me, I'm going to go forward anyway because I really want to taste these wines. I think you might be curious about them. Are they fit for a king or a queen or a cunning relative? Or, I won't make that joke. Or are they the opposite, a royal? So anyway, beautiful labels, but the true test is in the bottle, right? So how many of you are Game of Thrones fans? Lori, you've already said. I've watched every episode so far. Season 7, I cannot wait. My son is also a huge fan. I mean, I just think this series has been so well crafted. The books themselves were well written, but the way they've interpreted it for television, I think is part of this. We're in the golden age of television now, and this series is definitely part of that. So Lori says, you heard that the Cab Sauv is sold out and very expensive. You are right. So what I'm holding, let me just show you. There are 3 wines altogether. I'll give you I'll show you them in a screenshot if I've got that. Let's just see. Oh, that's Tyrion Lannister. I've also got the some wine scenes, some wine episodes, or pivotal shots, if you will. So there's the Cabernet Sauvignon, which I believe is $30. I'm going to check these when I post my reviews after, but I wanted to taste them live with you. So I believe this is $30. And then this one is a sort of a proprietary red, like one of those cult reds that we often find from California, a blend. And it is, I believe, $80. So very expensive. Well, actually, even this isn't cheap at $30. But again, it's all about price quality ratio. It's personal as to, if this is worth it or not, but we will do the taste test. And there's also a Chardonnay. This is the Chardonnay. It's $30. So nothing's cheap here. But then again, if you've got the budget of Tyrion Lannister or Cersei, who cares? Let's see. I heard okay, yes, right. Gotcha there, Lori. Okay, so where to start? Why don't we start with the Chardonnay? But before I do, let's just talk about what are your favorite wine scenes from Game of Thrones. I mentioned Tyrion Lannister seems to have the most expansive knowledge of wine. He's sort of the correct me if I'm using a wrong term here, dwarf. I'm not sure if I'm using the correct term, so please, I do want to. He is so smart. He has a razor wit. He says others fight with swords. He uses his mind. And then there's that pivotal scene when Joffrey pours wine over the head of Tyrion at the dinner to embarrass him. Something we know not to do as wine connoisseurs. But it seems every character really has a glass in hand at some time or another. I mean, there's just so many wine scenes. I've seen a video montage of this, and it's quite amazing in terms of the variety. Dave Head says, sorry, it sounds hokey. Are you referring to the concept of branded wines or the topic of this show, Dave? This is going to be a short one. As I said, I can't do the regular Sunday Sipper Club at 6 p.m., but I'm going to do just a brief one here because Game of Thrones starts next weekend, and you need to know if these wines are worth it. So let me start with the Chardonnay. And as I said, I had hoped to interview Bob Cabrel, the winemaker. So he would have been right over there. So we can pretend he's here tonight and ask questions, and maybe he'll comment below in this discussion thread after the fact. I don't know. But Bob, how are you tonight? Anyway, whatever. Let's just go with it and try the Chardonnay. So let me get this here. And they are lovely labels, but 30 bucks, that is quite pricey. But who knows? Maybe they're glorious. Let's see. Really nice nose. Sort of apple butter. You can tell this has oak on it. Chardonnay, of course, is the good girl grape that can be grown mostly anywhere and has a heavy influence from a winemaker. They often call it the winemaker's grape. Lise, I agree, Dave. Not for me, but then I don't watch much TV. Too many hobbies. But you're interested in the wine anyway. Well, thanks, Lise. I'm glad you are. I guess I don't have enough hobbies, Lise. Not sure about that. Anyway, let me just give this a little taste. I feel like I should have ye old goblet spittoon. There's even stemless glasses for Game of Thrones. They're on Indigo or Chapters, wherever. Anyway, I don't like stemless. I think they're downright medieval. All the fingerprints and warming up, especially a white wine. But okay, back to this wine. So it's a solidly made wine. It's full-bodied. It's balanced. It's got attractive aromas, especially if you like a big, blousy, oaky Chardonnay. That's not to say there's too much oak, but the oak is evident for sure. It's not shy. It's right up there in that sort of big, muscular California Chardonnay kind of way where the prices do get up to $30 and way beyond. If you think of something like Kistler at, what is that, 80 bucks or more? So, you know, it's up in that stratosphere. So one more taste here. What would I pair it with? I was trying to think of medieval dishes or what, you know, Cersei might make, but a lot of it would probably be poisoned if she was serving it to the wrong people. So we're not going to go there. So, oh, Lori, what would you give it on a point scale? So, good question, because I'm just tasting these in real time now. So, this is a $30 wine, California. Now, the price does not affect my score. What you want to do with all of my reviews, and I hope this is the case for most reviewers, is give you an approximate shorthand for quality in the score, and then you can do your own QPR, quality price ratio. It's like for a company, they call it, what is it? Price equity, PE multiple, if I can remember back to my MBA days. So you're trying to get the most value you can for the taste. So to answer your question, long-winded way, Lori, of this, I would give this a 90 or a 91. So I've given wines that have been a lot more expensive and a lot less expensive that same score. So for you, you have to know, A, do I like big full-bodied Chardonnays with very evident oak? And am I willing to pay 30 bucks for a 90 score? 90 is a good score. But the QPR there, Could be a challenge. Okay, so that's that one. Let's move on to the Cabernet. As I said, this is going to be short and sweet tonight, but again, I just still need to go back to some of these famous scenes. Oh, there's there's Tyrion decanting. Oh, there's just so many scenes if you Google it. Anyway, I guess you have to be into the series to really love this, and not everybody is. Lise, for instance, has a life. This is the Cabernet, and it is also, I think, $30. So the Cabernet, the regular Cabernet and the Chardonnay were available in stores in the LCBO, and they're probably available in places in the US. I think that's the only place, though, in Canada is in the LCBO in Ontario. And then the really expensive Cabernet or red wine blend was $80 and available only online. Lori, that might be the one you were mentioning is sold out. But let's give this one a try. All right. Again, no medieval wine goblets, but let's see. An attractive nose, definitely the oak is obvious again. And I do mean obvious. You know, it's there, it's not shy, but it's not an oaky monster. Like I've seen oak treated like ketchup and just to cover up flaws, and it's not a deft use at all. Now, if Bob were here, back to Bob, the winemaker, I would ask him, you know, as a winemaker, why did you agree to make these wines? It's heavily branded, and I know Bob makes other more of the earth kind of terroir driven wines. So how do you reconcile that, Bob? Bob? Do you have questions you want to ask Bob too? Anyway, let's just stick with the tasting, shall we? So here we go with this Cabernet. Definitely some sweet oak there. Fleshy, ripe black plums, sweet blackberries, sort of a blackberry jam. Very sweet signature, even though technically this wine is dry. So, again, you have to think about, is this your style? Most people just skip over tasting notes. They just go right to the score. But really, if you do yourself a better service by looking at, is this the kind of wine I like to drink? So again, getting medieval here, I would give this also about a 90. So I've given wines much more expensive that same score and much less. My delight is like finding the wine that maybe costs $15, $17 and it gets a 90. That's like finding a Versace jacket at the outlet store and paying 10% of the original price. That's what I'm after. Dave says, Corning Museum in New York, you can see medieval goblets. All right, road trip, Dave. I'll bring the wine. So again, very sweet fruit, a very classic sort of California Cabernet style. Not my style, but that's okay. I'm here to offer opinions for people who would like that style, not just for me personally. I like a far drier, earth-driven kind of style. Any food pairings, John Morrison is asking. Hey, John, welcome. I'm trying to think, like, you know, if I had had more time to do this, I just decided to go live at the last minute here and thought, what the heck, let's just taste these before the season starts and while I've got the samples. So medieval, can we think of some medieval food pairings? Definitely no forks or knives would be involved. We'd be like eating Henry VIII style. I don't know if you remember any iconic foods in the series at all, or medieval dishes. Lori says, excuse me, from what I know of your scoring, it sounds like you like the wines, but maybe for the price they are just okay. Yeah, so if you, I mean, I'll be completely open about this. I'm not gonna sidestep. I think that you can get better value, honestly. These are well-made, tasty wines. They're not my personal style, but that doesn't matter, because if you like this style, then you need to know. But I think you could get better quality for the same price. I really do. I think the branding has come into play here. It's smart. Well, Dave, you think it's hokey, but I think it's, a lot of people will go, as Lori said, the Cabernet's already sold out. So I think a lot of people are crazy about the series and will buy things like this. and wine lovers who are seeking high-end wines and aren't worried about the price. So, Wild Boar, yes. Lori, yes, that would be, that sounds like something Tyrion would call somebody else who couldn't keep up with him in conversation. But that would be a good pairing. Wild Boar, Ye Old Pheasant. I don't know. I'll take one more taste of this. Not bad. Okay, let's go on to the Primo. This one was only available online from the LCBO website, direct shipping to home, $80. So this is a hefty, hefty price tag. Let's give it a try. All right, so red wine blend. So usually that involves Cabernet and Merlot. The lighting isn't great here, so I can't read the tiny type. But again, when I post my reviews, I'll put more details, including what's in this blend if the info is available. So now the oak is less evident here. It's still there. This is more of a smoky weave, which is more of the style I like a Rhone Valley type, cedar smoke, earth-driven, that sort of thing, as opposed to fleshy, ripe, sweet blackberries and big toasty oak. So what's in the blend? Yes, Lori, I will get that as soon as I can, but let's just taste this for now. I do like this, the nose here, and I guess I better for $80, but anyway. That's really good. It's very good, very well made, very balanced, very tasty, good long finish, nice texture, all the rest of it. I would give this 91, 92. So again, you have to do the quality price ratio in your mind. Is $80 worth it? Only you can answer that question for your budget and what you're looking for, and especially the style. For me, I find wines like from Chapoutier in the Rhone or Guigal or some of those, that's where I find the huge value is. You can get wines of the style I'm talking about for like, you know, your 15, 18, they're entry level, and you can go up to 25, 30, but oh, they're mind-blowing. Like those wines, you know, lately that I've come across, they're, for me, and the way I score, going up to 94, 95 sometimes. Just incredible QPR, quality price ratio. So again, any other creative, yeah, you love Rhone blends too, Lori, yeah. They're just so amazing. I mean, if you like a full-bodied red that's not sweet, too much oak, totally fruit-driven, Rhone is your place. Personally, and just to reveal all sort of biases, because I don't believe in objectivity. I believe we are a bundle of subjectivity, even when it comes to wine. I drink Pinot Noir. I love it. That's my style. So that does have an impact, though I'm trying to offer a professional opinion, having tasted wines like this style and knowing that a lot of people love wines of this style. So that's when I offer sort of the score and what I think people who are searching for this style might feel or experience with this wine, because I have the privilege of tasting these wines, and most people don't before they have to make that commitment and buy the bottle. Dave had northern or southern Rhone wines. Absolutely. Just spectacular. I'll do one more taste here. This is definitely the best made. I mean, there is a real jump in subtlety and quality between the premium $80 bottle and the $30. This is starting to look inexpensive now by comparison. Anyway, not really. So I think that's it. So guys, do you have any other comments or questions? I mean, I am gonna, jump in here even after the fact. If you're watching the video replay, which is where a lot of people catch these Sunday Sipper Club episodes, please still comment. I mean, I know there are a lot of Game of Thrones fans out there, and I know I gave no warning for this because it was an impromptu tasting. Let's just do it. But this is fun, and you guys were, I mean, there's already a crowd here, so that's fantastic. And I know, more of you will come later. I will continue to comment. I will post links in this under this episode here of my final reviews. You can check to see if there's availability still left, and of course make your own mind up. I've got a great lineup of lots more guests since I last spoke to you about the lineup. So Norm Hardy will be joining us, Randall Graham from California, Bonnie Doon. Norm Hardy, of course, is in Prince Edward County. I've got Mike Viseth. He's known as the wine economist. He's going to be joining us in November. I'm starting to book way out now just to line up the exact people I want to. Jane Masters, who's head of the Master of Wine Institute in the UK. I will have Janet Flesher and Laura Werlin, who are huge cheese experts, but they've also written books about pairing cheese and wine. So I think that's going to be really interesting for us to take the deep dive into that topic. I'm trying to think, there's been some others. They're just coming into place now, and I'm really excited about, because I'm really looking for people who have interesting stories to tell. They don't all have to be winemakers. You know, I'm going for chefs, I'm going for different angles, cheese experts, as I just said. Always open to your suggestions. That's kind of why I wanted to do this, because it has a tie-in to popular culture. I thought it was relevant in case you were curious. I'm your consumer advocate to tell you here what I think. No bones about it. How about Madame Robinson? Ah, yes. She who must be obeyed. We'll try, Dave. We'll see. You know, some people are more receptive, others less so. Some people are intimidated by the technology, but really, this is pretty simple stuff, because the tool I use now to bring someone in to an interview like this is even easier than Skype now. It's just so easy. And I just think it's so powerful to connect directly via video. And I'm going to have more and more of you on. We had Lise on previously, Lise, who is busy with all her hobbies, but we're going to invite more and more of the community on. In fact, Lise and I are working on, see, Lise says it's easy. Lise and I are working on she's spearheading this, a very special Facebook Live video fundraiser, probably sometime this fall. She works with an organization that rescues dogs. You're going to hear more about that, but we're going to have some winemakers who have winery dogs. You've seen those winery dog calendars. I just think it's going to be a super episode where we'll bring in winemakers from different areas of the country and their dogs. Their dogs will stay quiet, but maybe that's not what dogs do. So as you can see, we're just going to have lots and lots of fun with this and different topics. And I think that's it. If you have any other questions, post them below. I will now bid adieu to Bob. Bye, Bob. I will say goodbye to you. I am off tonight. Would they say hobbies? Didn't mean to say TV is bad. That's okay. That's okay, Lise. I didn't interpret it that way. But anyway, that's it. I will see you next Sunday on July 16th when we will have Caroline LeBlanc from Torres Winery in Spain. Got some fabulous wines to taste with Caroline. And she's also a brand ambassador. So we're going to find out what that means. And I bet you there's a few of you out there curious about how you could become a brand ambassador. It's a PR marketing role, and we're going to talk to her about that and what she has to do. All right. Thank you, Lori. I will have fun at my event tonight. Pink and rosé. They go well together. I'm really excited going to the Pink concert. It's going to be fun. Anyways, guys, take care, and we will see you next Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Toronto, New York time. And we'll be live here, simulcasting as we always do to Facebook Live, YouTube live stream, and Twitter video via Periscope. Take care.